Hi, I'm Chris, an attorney with BRCK Defense. So you get a DWI. It's one of those things in life that nobody wants to happen, but sometimes it does. And one of the most frustrating parts of it is simply how long a DWI case takes to resolve. Now there's a few different scenarios here, depending on whether you were administered a breath or a blood test. Presumably, if you consented to a breath test, then the officers have all the evidence they need in your case. And so it should be filed and start moving through the court system quickly. However, if we have a situation in which you refused the breath test and instead were administered a blood test, then you can expect the process to take a bit longer. The state will need to get labs, meaning the officers will send your blood to a state DPS lab for testing. Now, these labs are free for the police officers to use and consequently are always backlogged, which will inevitably result in a delay in your case. Prosecutors and judges are understandably hesitant to make a judgment in a case that is still awaiting blood results. When I was a DWI prosecutor earlier in my career, I simply could not make a judgment in a DWI case until I got the defendant's blood results back. What if the individual turns out to be below the legal limit? Well, in that situation, I want to dismiss my case. It's the worst possible thing. The biggest injustice would be if somebody immediately pled guilty and then later the lab results showed that the individual was not intoxicated. In that situation, we have now convicted an innocent person, which is again about the worst thing a court can do. Other issues. Court dockets are always backlogged. People are surprised to learn that San Antonio courts are often thousands of cases behind. And so if you imagine a big stack of files and you show up to court on your first court date, you are now at the bottom of this pile. And Bexar County is notoriously hard on DWI offenders. And because of that, the stakes are higher and the negotiations take longer and more cases will need to go to trial. In San Antonio, misdemeanor courts, the most commonly tried case is not murder or drugs, it's DWIs. Combine that with the idea that a court can only try one case at a time, and when it does, it may occupy the court for a whole week or so, and every other case on the docket is gonna get reset. Discovery. DWI cases in Bexar County will always have a large amount of discovery or evidence that will need to be turned over from the prosecutors to the defense attorneys. These will include numerous police reports, pictures, videos, both dash cam and body cam. These videos may be several hours long, and you're going to want your defense team to comb through them for any procedural issues, mitigating evidence, places where the officers make mistakes or errors, and look for weaknesses in the state's case. The final thing that slows down cases are negotiations. John Grisham in his book, The Firm, wrote, "Any lawyer worth his salt knew that the first offer had to be rejected." So the idea here is that you want to give your attorneys the time and space to negotiate on your behalf, which will require multiple settings. But that's how you get the best outcome, whether it's a dismissal, a reduction, a favorable plea, or a trial. Give your lawyers time to review your case, confer with the prosecutors about mitigating evidence, mistakes the officers made, reasons why their initial theory of the case is incorrect. And that process of chipping away at the case is gonna take time. Unfortunately, everyone at the courthouse has seen a defendant show up on their first court date, speak with their attorney for 2 minutes, then all of a sudden they're in front of the judge pleading guilty to something. This is how you get the worst possible outcome. This is how you end up in jail. Look, DWI cases are frustrating for many reasons, and the wheels of justice do seem to move slower now than ever. But if you find yourself in this situation, give us a call, have some patience, let us walk you through what to do, let us let you know what we've learned over 15, 20 years of doing these kind of cases. And that's how you're gonna get the best possible outcome in these tough situations.